I got it.
All
Yeah.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live and back
I'll
in the
be.
channel. Bobby, what up, Bobby? Say hi to the audience and then mute yourself.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, for
Bobby.
those who don't know, that's Bobby. That's our young Bobby, our young Jamie, as they say. What up, Chad?
Chilling,
Feeling like a villain?
chilling like a villain. I'm
Uh,
excited for our guest today. This guy has a vast knowledge of our band that it's probably only equaled by mine and
and
the
maybe,
other three members.
I was gonna say maybe he remembers more.
Probably
Stuff.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was kind of the unofficial photographer of the band. He has a ton of fucking great pictures of us over the years as well.
Oh yeah. And good video too. He took video. So
Yeah, video him.
your 1998 with Live, I guess because you were in the process of writing The Distance to Here and just got over that big World Secret Samadhi tour. 1998, you guys really only did a handful of shows, maybe 10 to maybe 15, but Tibetan Freedom Concert was one of them.
Oh yes.
And every other year they have great, almost soundboard quality, concerts of you guys, that you fans could find or whatever. But 1998, none of them sound good. And I believe Jimmy Lang, who's our guest coming on later, has some good recorded song, concerts from that year.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Chameleon Club, you guys played there once or twice that year. Stone Pony.
Yeah, that was we often play the Chameleon. Probably we're trying out some new songs for Distance to Hear too, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
I remember.
So when I saw you guys at the Stone Pony that year, again, I've said this to you, but you don't really remember. You had pulled up the Stone Pony. I ran up to your Land Rover, Range Rover. We said hello. You were really nice and gracious. My mother was there. But the concert, you had the guy from Blind Melon, I believe, Chris Thorne.
Oh yeah, yeah. Chris was with us. That's right.
Playing the guitar. I think he did some slide guitar. And then you played 4 songs that I knew that night. The rest were all brand new and either coming on The Distance to Hear the next year, or they didn't get released, or one song went to album 5, Overcome.
Oh yeah.
So for somebody like me who's used to going to your shows and knowing every song, and to only know 4, it was cool, man. And first time I heard them, I'm like, these are all great. This fucking album's gonna be amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's cool to go out and play it. Well, we used to do this, go out and play the songs live, and you would get different parts or different sections or different feels to the song, and then record it.
Absolutely. So do we all know that it is election day?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, man.
It's like minor elections all over the country, right? Mayors and all that kind of stuff going on.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing about New Jersey is that every seat in the New Jersey legislators up for grabs in today's general election. So that's pretty big. That's pretty
big.
So get out and vote, people, because I am. Especially in New Jersey, with every seat's up for grabs, we have the opportunity to get the Democrats out in New Jersey. So I know that's a long shot, but I mean, something's got to change, right? I mean, the shit's not going right, so you might as well try the shoe on a different foot, so to speak.
Yeah. Vote conservative. You'll figure out that you're not a racist and whatever they paint us to be.
Yep.
It's just you keep voting for the same party or people and keep getting the same. You want different outcomes, but you keep getting the same outcomes of voting for the same party. It's like people in California that move out to Texas and then still vote blue there. It's like just baffles.
Exactly. It's strange, but you guys can make changes today. So let's go out there and do that. Who is excited about Apple's announcement last week? Anybody besides me?
I announced some new chips and stuff. I don't know exactly what they announced. I missed it.
Yeah, so let me dive in for you.
Oh,
So,
sweet. Okay, let's talk about it.
yeah, Apple announced a new iMac, which is their all-in-one computer.
Mm.
Uh, and they haven't refreshed that in 3 years, maybe going on four, something like that. And I personally actually needed a new iMac because I had my iMac in the studio, but first of all, I needed one to begin with. It was from like 2009, 2010.
Mm. All
It
right.
still worked like a champ. You know what I'm saying? You had a PC from that era. Good luck. Um, but I was going to open the vent above me in the podcast studio, and rather than move the table and get a step ladder, I stepped on the edge of the table, and I have a lot of weight on my side of it. And
Oh shit. Yeah.
yeah, the fucking whole iMac came down and cracked the big screen,
Oof.
27-inch screen.
Oof. You got the 27-inch iMac, right? I'm looking
Yeah.
it up right now.
And this was like 2009, 2010 edition. So it has a glass screen, and then behind that screen is the actual monitor, the actual part that puts the image on it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it's really just the outside of it that cracked. But in doing that, it did dead some pixels. So I needed a new one anyway. And lo and behold, I was at the Apple store going to get my iPhone fixed. I never wear cases on it. I always go caseless, but now I'm back on the case
Oh yeah.
because I dropped it a bunch of times. I broke both the front and the back, and they said
Yes.
if you do that, we replace the whole phone. So I had Apple Care, $99, brand new phone. Let's go. And I asked the guy, I'm like, dude, I need a new iMac, but it's been a couple years since they refreshed the lineup. Like, should I wait? Like, you think it's coming out soon? Because I kind of need one ASAP. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, but they do have a scary event coming up. That they announced. It was either on Halloween or the day before. I believe it was on Halloween.
Mm.
And he's like, so they're coming out then. I'm like, dude, are you playing, bro? I'm like, or are you playing? He's like, no. He's like,
Are you playing?
yeah. He's like, well, I'm kind of playing, but I'm not. They are having an event that day. I just don't know what's in it.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I might as well wait. What's a couple days when I've been waiting since 2009 or 10? And lo and behold, so I said the last time it was like 3 or 4 years ago, had the Apple M1 chip in it. Now
Right.
it has the Apple M3 chip. It's the first chip built on 3 nanometers. Is the thickness of the chip. I think the one before and the closest and was 5 nanometers. So they dropped to 2, which is crazy. Yes, Bobby, please. So it's crazy. And I think the base model starts at $12.99. The one I'm looking at is about $18.99.
Well, they brought back the cool colors like the old
Yeah.
iMacs back in what was it, 2000, early 2000s? I had one of those.
So stupid me didn't have it to where Rob Bobby Yankee could share, but now you should be able to, buddy. Yeah. So they brought back the colors. Do you remember when the iMac first came out? But it was like a big fishbowl looking monitor thing.
Yep, I remember. I had one. I had one of those. That's the first Apple or Mac I ever had.
Oh my God, did you feel just like cool as hell?
Yeah, had a blue one.
Right. So there you go.
There they are.
You see
the colors. They're so cute.
Oh, beautiful. I'm getting the blue. It was between. Go ahead.
Is it two blues or just one blue? It looks like a blue and a purplish blue.
Yes. So that was I was torn between three. The one all the way to the left, green, technically they're saying. And then the second from the right is the blue. But then, the one to the left is purple. But if you look at the base of the purple, that gets a little girly for me. That's not a purple.
It's a little lilac-y, isn't it?
Yes. The dark one, however. Oh, Bobby, you know what? Let me do this.
I can't believe they didn't make a pink one. Chicks would like that.
Bobby, I'm going to request to control the screen. So just grant that to me. So I could actually scroll. Perfect. Click to start. There we go. Okay. I'm trying to use it like a Mac. Wait a second here. You work. Okay, there we go. It's just delayed. Okay. All right. So, I'm sorry. It's looked at 13.90. Bobby, when you have your shit. Oh, because you're on a VPN. Okay. So I'm like, why is it giving us the price in pounds? Bobby does illegal stuff on there and he's on the VPN. But if you look at this right here, it doesn't show the peripherals. So yeah, there we go. So up in the top right hand corner, if you could see it, it shows it's got matching mouse and a matching keyboard to match the color of the computer. You see that, Chad?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm looking.
That dope?
Yeah, it looks great.
And then you can switch the colors here to see. But look at this purple, Chad, because I was all about it, but that is very, like you said, lilac-y. But
for the girls,
right,
gotta get the blue one.
Exactly. But
they should have made a pink one, man.
I know.
They brought the black iMac Pro, or I saw that all black.
Yes, sir. And did I tell you that too? That my 16.
No, I saw that on. I did see that. I checked that out, but I didn't see the iMacs. I didn't scroll down far enough.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, that was another thing. My 16-inch MacBook Pro got stolen from my. Yeah, so that's another.
Oh, you're gonna be $5,000 into Apple here soon.
100%, a little bit over, I think. But anyhow, all right, Bobby, you can stop that sharing. Oh, actually, Bobby, go to the M3 chip on there. I'm gonna give you that sharing back.
And actually, it's amazing how thin it is. I mean, like it's like a laptop on a stand now. It's amazing.
Right. So stop participant sharing. All right, Bobby. So I stopped you from sharing. Pull up the M3 chip and bring up some info because I want to show Chad just how revolutionary it is. So,
are you familiar with Moore's law? You know Moore's law, right?
No.
Moore's law is like the computational speed will double every 18 months, and it has since they started, like on chips.
Oh wow!
So and it's still holding true. Like every 18 months, the speed doubles.
So, I mean, I think this is true for Apple, but for Intel chips too, because it seems
it's like chips. Moore's law kind of affects the whole world of computing.
So you know that Apple computers, MacBooks, all that stuff, it used to be they were Intel processors in there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then the M1 chip was the first silicone that Apple invented themselves. And it's just legendary. Like it used to be where the gaming computers, were PC. But now, when the M1 chip came out, it changed. But now with the M3 Pro and Pro Max chips, they're way above and beyond anything PCs can do.
Jimmy's here. Don't talk about computers, man. This guy knows everything, and he's in Star Wars background. I love it.
Jimmy.
What's up, Jimmy?
Okay, guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
We'll get back to that after Jimmy's here. Now Jimmy's here, we'll stick with Jimmy, but keep that on.
You can go back. You can continue to do my Christmas shopping for me. I see you're on the Apple website.
Yeah, bro. Where's your list? Because there's my little puppy. Where's your list? Because we buy a bunch of gifts. This is my don't mind him. He's on his.
Yeah, you don't want me anywhere near an Apple store. My wife gets really nervous every time I go, hey, I'm going to go to the Apple store.
Go ahead.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, buddy.
So let me give you an introduction here, Jimbo. His name is Jimmy Lang. He was sort of a unofficial live photographer, but above and beyond that, he actually created some relationships with the fellas. And he has a lot of stuff that has not been released or anything, like good quality recordings of, like we were talking about earlier, from the 1998 days, and just some really cool stuff that he had kind of an all access pass to, back in the day. Jimmy was backstage. Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry.
Jimmy, didn't you, if I'm not mistaken, you created our first website, and it was one of the very first band websites to exist. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So, yeah, I mean, back in those days, I mean, that was the late 90s, right? That was around 93, 94.
We have one of the very first band websites on the web because of Jimmy.
Wow. Yeah, I worked at at that time I was working at an ISP, so I was really getting into a lot of technology, and so the World Wide Web was just starting to take off. And my favorite stuff is, if anybody knows me, is like I love computers, I love music, and I love technology. And so I figured, well, I should do something cool. And I was like, hey, what is this website business? So I started doing band websites. Actually, the first one I did was a Rush
Oh, of course, yes. Rush was his
yeah,
favorite band.
Yeah, if anybody knows me, it's my favorite band is Rush. I'm a huge fan of drumming. But so of course that's how I got into live. Chad's drumming and specifically.
Yeah, he's
I
all
was
right.
a huge he's all right.
I'm no Neil Peart, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
He's yeah, I was a huge fan of drumming. I love music. It's just something weird about drumming. Like I don't understand how people can control like 4 separate appendages and like keep different rhythms. Like I can't even chew gum and like scratch my head at the same time.
Have you watched that guy El Casterio or whatever his name is on? Have you seen his videos talking about?
Oh no,
dude, this guy is like a whole different level, a new form of drumming. Like he does literally different shit with each appendage. Like he'll do like 4/4 with one hand, 3/4 with the other, 6. Like he goes through different time signatures with different parts of his body and plays shit. You're just like, what the fuck is going on? Dude, I can't even understand it.
That's
check him out, crazy. Jimmy. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a note to check that out.
Can I check him out too, Chad, or just?
Yeah, he's all over Instagram, and you can check him out too, John. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't. If you want, I can maybe get a little bit into how I got into life.
Sure,
that might
please.
Be an interesting thing.
Yes.
So maybe not a lot of people know, but I'm a huge Rush fan. So I got into live because of Rush, actually. And to give you an idea, I've seen Rush 120 times in concert. Like I got a Rush tattoo. I mean, I've met the guys, everybody except Neil. Neil doesn't like to do meet and greets because he's super shy. People think he's offhanded and he doesn't want to deal with fans. It's not that much. He's just super shy. He doesn't do meet and greets. So he's the only one I haven't met. Although he did send me some stuff. He writes books and does drumming instructional videos, and I used to help promote it. And so I've got some autograph stuff from it. It's pretty cool. But the reason, speaking of Neil, so Neil is also a huge music fan. He was talking about Nirvana before folks even knew who Nirvana was. I think he even tried to get him to open up on one of the Rush stores. Because I was such a huge Rush fan, I follow pretty much everything they did. And back in like when Mental Jury first came out, I was reading like interviews, anything I can get my hands on about Rush. And you have to remember, like this is before the internet pretty much exploded, and everybody started saying, information is super highway, this and that. Right. So back then, I bought like fanzines, I bought like magazines, and listened to radio interviews all over the place, and I ran a huge Rush mailing list. And in one of the 1992, right around Mental Jury time, he did an interview with a magazine called Spirit of Rush fanzine, and he mentioned.
What was it called? I'm sorry, Jim.
It's called Spirit of Rush.
Oh, okay.
It's run by these huge Rush fans in the UK, friends of mine. So they asked him, in one of these, hey, what kind of music are you listening to? And he'd say, oh yeah, there's this band from Pennsylvania that I really like. They're called Live. Really good music, really good lyrics.
Wow.
And so that was my first. I was like, what the hell is he talking about, right? And then later on, obviously, it was like, oh, Live. Isn't that that band I was like made that video where they're running around the beach like a bunch of crazy fools?
That was us.
And I was like, oh, he's talking about that band. So then I started to listen.
What was that?
Operation Spirit.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
First video.
Yeah, Operation Spirit.
I saw that video.
So yeah, he was really big on the band, and obviously in later years, I think it was 1994, Modern Drummer, or somewhere later down the line, he mentioned, they always asked him what his favorite drummers were. And he's like, oh yeah, I like this drummer. And then at the end he's like, oh, also I love Matt Cameron, of course,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then he said, I also like Chad Gracey from Live. He plays What You Want to Hear.
I think that was in Rolling Stone. I think he said that.
As a Modern Drummer.
Modern Drummer.
So
I'll take it.
One
Either
second,
way.
that
I
was
gotta ask Chad a question about that. So Chad,
yeah, sure.
if you don't, so when somebody like that mentions your name with in such a good light, like how does that make you feel as a musician, as a person? Is that something you paid attention to? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I'd heard about. I didn't read it directly, but someone told me about it, and I went and read it. It was like, holy shit, it was huge. But like, it's funny because, sorry to sidetrack Jimmy here, but like in all the school bands, I played saxophone. I didn't play drums in school bands, so all the guys in the drum line thought I sucked at drumming, but they were all like huge Neil Peart fans, right? Because Neil Peart, and I didn't really grow up listening to Rush and stuff. I was listening to Larry Mones Jr. and like U2 and like kind of the new wavy more stuff. I didn't really get into Rush and the technical side of Neil's drumming, and so I wasn't a fan per se. I mean, I respected him immensely, obviously,
Right.
but I wasn't like a Neil Peart guy. Where all the drummer guys in the bands and the school bands were all Neil Peart guys. They're like, oh, you know. So they all thought that I sucked because I didn't play in the school bands. So when I got mentioned by Neil Peart, their god,
yes,
they all changed their tunes a little bit. So,
right.
Anyway, that was cool.
Thank you for that. Sorry for that.
Yeah. So yeah, I was. I mean, once I knew that Neil started to like bands like live and stuff, obviously I would start to listen. I was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty good. The other thing that I started to notice, because I was a Rush fan, I was going to a lot of shows. So not a lot of people know this, but for the house music, Neil would be the one that's responsible for selecting songs for the house music. It would be his tape. So every tour, I would be like, okay, I gotta go in early because I want to see what kind of shit. Like I need to see what kind of bands Neil's listening to, and Live used to have play like a Stone, Audio Slave, or the house music and stuff. So I would go to Rush shows specifically early to listen to house music, and he'd play like Candlebox and stuff, and he'd play like Jeff Buckley, and then I started to hear like Damn It Otter Creek. And then I started to hear like Rattlesnake, and I was like, "What the heck?" I mean, I knew that was live, and I was like, "Okay." I knew that was Neil that actually selected those tracks.
That's cool. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, I would go to all these shows, and at the end of the show, everybody's like awesome, and then they're leaving, and you hear like "Damn It Otter Creek" playing on the house music. It was great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Another funny story about Neil, as far as live goes, because he started listening to the band from the get-go, like Mental Jury. He was a huge fan of Mental Jury. So in early '94, I want to say Rush played like 3 nights, I think 2 or 3 nights at Madison Square Garden.
Damn.
And one of my good friends was a couple of my good friends are also huge Rush fans, and they got to go backstage. Now the thing with backstage with Rush is like Neil doesn't do meet and greets. Usually when the last song he jumps up, exits stage left, he's out. Like he's out of the building before people even know. But
reason for that, Jimmy? Is he too good for
No, it's not that at all. He's just he doesn't like he's really shy. He's a shy guy, and he doesn't even
he's an introvert like me. Come on now.
Yeah. One of the lyrics for Limelight is like, I can't pretend a stranger's a long-awaited friend. He's just like that. He's not into his fake stuff. He would prefer to meet somebody, like, say, at a coffee shop or like at a bookstore. But
right,
just not into that. But those 3 nights at the Madison Square Garden, my buddies got backstage and he was there, and it was such a rarity because he doesn't do those types of things, and it was because they were on Mercury Records and they switched over to Atlantic Records, and Atlantic Records wanted to hold this huge party, and they were saying, you gotta go. So reluctantly he went. Now when they went back there, they knew he was a live fan, so they had with them a tape. It was an advanced copy of Growing Copper.
Ooh.
And nice. So they went back there and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go, we're gonna hand this over to Neil personally because he's a huge fan of the band.
Right.
And what happened was, they went back there, and before they could enter the realm of Peart, as we call it, he had his own stuff. He had his own sectioned off area backstage with ropes and security guards.
Nice.
Like you had to he didn't want to like meet, like a regular, oh, I'm a huge Rush fan. Oh, thank you for, like, I love you guys. He's just not into that scene.
Right.
So he would only speak to, like maybe people in the music industry, record labels. But my buddies, they had this tape, and they're like, man, we got to get this to Neil somehow because he's a huge life fan. So they approached this. They approached the realm of Peart, got intercepted by a bunch of security guards. But they wrote a note in there, and they handed him the tape, and he was just like, I'm sure he was like, couldn't wait to hear it.
Right.
And I knew it too, because like later on, he would start to play songs from Throwing Copper on the house music. So that was
so cool.
That was pretty crazy that he got an advanced copy of Throwing Copper.
Now, how did these individuals secure an advanced copy of Throwing
That's what
Copper?
I was going to say.
Yeah, I can't reveal certain. Can't reveal.
Sounds like Jimmy was responsible for a lot of album leaks on Napster back in the day.
Oh no, it wasn't me, Thomas. Same thing happened kind of on Secret Samadhi. Almost the same thing happened. So on Secret Samadhi, so that came out in February of '97.
Right.
And so before Secret Samadhi tour, the band played like a couple of shows at just some small clubs. Like I think they played the Chameleon Club before the actual started the tour, before the album even got released. They had booked some shows, and they played like small clubs like the Crowbar at State College.
Yeah.
And so then that first week.
Oh shit! Yeah, William Patterson University. You guys put in '97. You remember that show in New Jersey?
No.
Wow.
I remember the Crowbar, the Chameleon.
Yeah,
William Patterson.
That was kind of interesting. The Crowbar. I had like this Sony. I was also doing the photography, and I bought like this Sony. Sony had made like this camera. It was the first digital camera, but the way it wrote to the way it wrote the files, it wrote it on a floppy disk, if you can believe that. So I had the camera, and I'd stick the floppy disk in there, I'd shoot at the Crowbar, and these images it would take forever to write. I was like, oh man.
I was gonna say, doesn't a floppy disk only hold like 10 megabytes or some shit?
I think it's on 1.44, but I shot at low resolution. But it's pretty crazy.
What resolution is that?
The first week of the Secret Samadhi tour, so the band was playing in Toronto, and I was like, I wrote to the ladies at the management company for Rush and said, hey, I know Neil's a huge fan. Maybe ulterior motives, because I kind of wanted to meet the guys from Rush as well.
Sure.
But I said that the band was going to be in Toronto, and they're playing a club called the Phoenix, and if you guys need tickets, if just let me know, and I would let the live management know. And sure enough, that first week on tour, I looked at the guest list. I was out for that whole first week of the Secret Samadhi tour, and when they got to Toronto, I was looking at the guest list. I was like, man, are they going to be on there? And sure enough, Alex Lifeson, the guitarist, his name was on the guest list. And I was like, holy shit! If he shows up tonight, that's going to be awesome. I don't really care about the live shows too much. That would be so awesome if they came. So I remember I kept going the night of the show. I kept going to the front, and I kept looking to see if his name was crossed off the guest list, and it just wasn't. Everybody else had picked up their tickets, and he just never came. And I went back and forth. I mean, I was like, oh my god, I got to say hi to this guy, right? So yeah, I was just kind of pacing back and forth, and finally I went backstage, and I just figured, man, the band's going on next, and I doubt Alex Lifeson is going to come to this show. So I was walking by stage, and then like Patrick starts yelling at me. He's like, hey Jimmy, aren't you like a Rush fan? And I'm like, yeah, man. Alex was on the guest list, and I don't think he's coming. He's like, yeah, guess what? They're not going to come. And I was like, okay. And he's like, but they did send us a platter of cheese and wine and crackers. So the guys from Rush sent like this, cheese platter and wine, and Patrick's back there eating, drinking wine. He's like, oh, I sent this note. You want this note? I was like, yeah. So he gave me the note. It basically said, dear live, good luck on your Secret Samadhi tour. Sorry we couldn't make it. And it just signed, Alex, Neil, and Getty. I was like, shit, that's pretty classy.
Cool. Yeah. Dope as hell.
Pretty crazy story, but Yeah, actually, yeah.
That was
Not,
because
not a
of
lot
you.
of
I didn't
people
know
know
that. That's so cool.
that. Not a lot of people know, but yeah, there's a lot of Rush history, and of course, a lot of Rush fans are, they're into the band because of drumming, and of course, a lot of drummers are into the band live because of drumming as well. So yeah,
So
a lot of crazy history there.
when did you start following live? Like what year was your first concert?
I didn't see them until opening of their Throwing Copper tour because
Okay.
I mean I'd heard about them after Mental Jury had come out, and after I started reading like, oh, Neil was in the Mental Jury, and after I started hearing songs being
Right.
played, and I was like, oh, okay, I gotta check these guys out when they on their next round. So yeah, when Throwing Copper came out, I went and saw them. That was a crazy tour because it started off like in really small, I don't know, dingy clubs, and just
Hmm.
packed and sweaty body masses of people crammed into like small places. But by the end of the tour, they closed out at the Philadelphia Spectrum. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It was a
that
hell of a
tour
tour.
is a crazy run. I mean, but yeah, I saw them Throwing Copper. I think Tracy Lords opened up, and also like Vic
Gracey
Chestnut.
Lords opened up.
Yeah,
Somewhere in there,
uh,
yes.
somewhere in there. Vic Chestnut, Angelfish, which is Shirley Manson band. Shirley
Yeah, before
Manson
Garbage.
from Garbage. Before Garbage, she opened up for a
We
bunch of fun.
she met Butch Vig on the tour with us in Chicago. She never tells that story, but that's how they met.
Who's
Oh,
Butch Vig?
crazy.
The drummer of Garbage and the guy, he's a huge producer too.
Oh,
Yeah,
get out of
he did
here.
Smashing Pumpkins and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of crazy to see like even Vic Chestnut. He'd come out on he's in a wheelchair, so he'd come out on stage and sing Supernatural with and had,
Oh,
from what I recall, I think he had a bit of a drinking problem.
So Vic,
I
yeah,
mean,
he drank a lot and did other shit too. He was crazy.
nice.
yeah,
Good
he
job, Vic.
he'd come out and sometimes some nights I was like, man, this guy's just drunk off his ass. But I mean, they're doing Supernatural and like it sounds freaking awesome. I mean, like
Hmm.
Ed loves that song. Um, and yeah, speaking of something about drinking. Several tours
Oh,
later, there
let me
was
play you back
another
here, Jimbo.
entity.
Let me play you back here a second, bud. So you start seeing them in the Round the Throne Copper Tour before it takes off to like arenas and whatnot. Now, when do you become the unofficial photographer, basically? Like, how does
Uh, yeah. So I started I started going to a lot of shows, and the reason I got into concert photography was this guy named Andrew McNaughton. So Andrew McNaughton is a huge he's the Rush photographer for Rush, and
right,
so back in the days when you used to go to concerts, you could buy obviously from the merch, you could buy like T-shirts, hats, all kinds of stuff, but also they would sell like tour books, so you could buy like a tour book of that tour or photos from the previous tour. And he was the tour photographer. So I really got into photography. Like, man, I'm going to all these live shows. It would be really cool to capture some of the stuff.
hell yeah.
And so I bought a camera. I didn't know anything about cameras. I'm completely self-taught. I shot. I started shooting a 35 millimeter, and then I'd get into like slides. And then when digital photography came around, I started buying digital cameras. And I started getting that. Um, Lucky for me, the Live's manager at the time, this guy named Dave Sestak, super cool guy. So Dave Sestak, he was Live's manager, but he was also a photographer. So man, I remember picking his brain like every chance I could because I would go to way more shows than he would. I was just flying around, tried to go to as many concerts back in my 20s and 30s and just see so many shows. And I figured, man, I gotta capture some of this stuff. So then I started getting into photography, and I would pick David's mind about photography. Some of my early photos, they're just horrible. Like it's just all blurry. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And luckily, through the years, I was able to like mess around a little bit and got some decent shots. I've got
Oh, you got some great
literally
shots, dude. Don't be
tens of thousands of photos. I'm not even joking. Tens of
yeah.
thousands of photos of live through the years. But yeah, that's how I got in. Yeah, that's how I got
Now,
into that.
Jimmy, so in the beginning, I'm guessing you were buying concert tickets, but did somewhere along the line they start coming to you as a freebie because that's an expensive hobby, if not?
Oh, it's definitely an expensive hobby. I don't have such connections with Rush.
No, we're live.
And I
I'm saying,
spent, I know. I was saying I don't have such connections with Rush, so I know how expensive that can get, having to pay for so much stuff. But with live, because I was like such into the band, and I worked a lot with their management, that they always hooked me up, and um, also as I got to know the guys in the early days, they're just like, yeah, anytime you want to come to the show, just let us know. All the guys in the band have always been really, I'm in kind of a unique position, being both, like helping out the band on the internet, but also I'm a fan also of the music, so I'm kind of in a weird, unique position like that. But yeah, the guys have always been really nice, and even all their managers through the years, Chris Harden. I met Chris way back when he was still doing intern for one of the other managers, Peter Friedman.
For Peter Friedman, yes.
Yeah, Peter Friedman. He was all the live managers have been super nice to me, so they've always managed to hook me up. Even things like I was such into photography that I'd mentioned. I think one time I mentioned it to Chad that, hey Chad, how would you feel if I like sold some photos, because I really want to get like some new camera gear. And he's like, no, just tell me what you need. And I was like, well, Nikon has this new camera coming out, and so their business manager contacted me and said, hey, the band says you want to get a new camera. Why don't you just go buy that and send me the receipt? And so yeah, I went and bought, like, at that time it was my Nikon D2X I was shooting with. And yeah, I sent them a receipt, and the band paid for that. I was like, oh, cool. Thanks so much, guys. But yeah, they've been super nice. All the guys in the band, the band members themselves, the management themselves, even the crew. I mean, Matt Gracey's been with them forever, Sean Williams, all those guys. So I've always been really lucky to be able to go to shows.
Cool. But he's related. His cousin is a dick.
Mm-hmm. Guy's a douche.
Chad, that's your cousin, right? Not your brother.
That's correct. Everyone thinks it's my brother. Yeah, he's my first cousin.
Yeah, that's dope.
He used to get really mad in the beginning days. Like, they always go to Matt, are you in the band? Are you in the band? He gets so mad at that.
Why would you be mad? I would be like, fuck yeah, I am, dude. If it's a chick, come backstage and check me out.
Yeah, that's
I play the spoons in the band.
Yeah, those early days were kind of interesting, because I remember, like, Chad, you and Patrick used to walk around the crowd, like, and nobody would know who the hell they were. And it's like,
yeah, we were doing
blowing up, and nobody would recognize them. They just
we were doing amphitheaters in 95. We're at an amphitheater tour, just throwing copper, and probably as big as we could ever be at that point. And yeah, I would just go walk around the crowd. Nobody would recognize me.
Well, it is, Chad.
I love it.
You guys all, except for like when Ed had the shaved head and the fucking ponytail braid, you guys all kind of look like regular dudes. You weren't wearing like, any crazy fucking leather and makeup and all that stuff. So, I could totally see how you could fit in. But if you would have walked by me, hell no, I'd like, know you. But you know what I'm saying?
Very rare.
Like, although because I was just talking about the leather, and we were talking about the 97 little like college tour, whatever tour you did during that time. Yeah, because it was wild. I had just seen you at, I don't know if it was vice versa, but I had just saw you at PNC Arts Center in Homedale, New Jersey. Then I think it was after, but it could have been before. And then you were playing at the William Patterson at a smaller venue, and I happened to be front stage. But Ed came out in purple leather pants, and a purple boa and no shirt for the encore. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Hilarious.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. And it was my first time being like front row, because it was like general admission, first come, first serve. And I was right up against the thing. I remember thinking, wow, Ed is way taller than I thought he was. Like, he just looked giant on the stage. But anywho, And Jimmy, just so everybody knows, you're a two-parter because we got so much to talk about with you. So Jimmy will be gracing our presence again, next show to kind of go over everything. He's our first two-part guest, and then of course we'll have him on in the future. But we haven't even brushed the surface with it. And Jimmy eventually is going to go through his archives. He moved and stuff like that, and try to bring the Gracious 2 audience some exclusives of stuff he has from way back when that has not been seen or hasn't seen the light in a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy moving because you find all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah,
moving. Like I was going through boxes from like 3 moves ago where I would just move a box from a box to another move. And I literally I have like probably over 100 shows on mini DV tapes, all kinds of weird stuff. Like I remember I was used to I call it Chad Cam, and I would set up a tripod just right near the drum kit, and that would just be one show. It'd just be like just Chad drumming, and another show would be like on a side stage.
So cool.
Film that, and the ones I would just follow. So a lot of you discover a lot of weird stuff. I found a whole bunch of Secret Somebody signed CDs that I still had left over that I never gave out. So probably I'll give that out. Also had
give one out to me.
When I was running like the mailing list and I was helping out a lot with their fan club, like Homespun and
Straight Out of York,
Friends of Life. Yeah, and then I created a mailing list called Straight Out of York and a website. But when I was helping out a lot with Michelle, who used to run the Fans of Life in Homespun, they took a lot of my photos and they made like a poster out of it, and it's like a limited run posters. And I found a tube with a whole bunch of posters.
Nice.
Speaking of posters too, I think in '95 when the band got like the artist of the year for Rolling Stone, and they appeared on the cover.
95.
And so I think Rolling Stone sent
'95
like a poster tube with like about 100 of the covers, and I got them from Michelle. She's gonna be really mad at me if she's listening ever. She gave me the poster tube, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get some of these signed by the band, and we just do a giveaway. And so I had this poster tube with about 100 of those Artists of the Year Rolling Stone cover, and I was going to a show, and I was gonna have the guys sign a bunch and then get them back to me. So I remember I was taking a Greyhound bus. And then I remember getting off the Greyhound bus and going to the show and then thinking, where's that poster tube? Oh, shit, I left it back on the Greyhound bus.
Oh.
So somewhere out there.
I didn't care. So I have ADHD, so my brain cuts in. They were signed already or unsigned?
No, unsigned. I was going to get them signed.
To Michelle, gotcha.
And man, I just left the poster tube on the bus.
Damn you.
I'm so mad at myself about that. I'm mad about myself and about it. So like, there was one show.
Now about it.
So I think Chad, you were playing the Greek Theater in
L.A.
Yeah, out in L.A. And Jim Carrey was at the show, and
yes,
Chad's good friends with Jim Carrey.
What?
And,
oh yeah, it was at the time.
Oh,
wait a second. Hold on. Hold on.
Lost contact with him.
I gotta steal hosting duties here, and so. Chad, you used to be friends with Jim Carrey like that, where you would call or text or whatever?
Yes. Yeah. We had each other's phone numbers for a while. Yeah.
That better be a little boogie.
Then, a guy like that changes his phone numbers all the time. So, I mean, just got lost in the shuffle somewhere.
Oh.
He was a big fan of the band. We actually
huge fan.
Went to his house and played him an early version of This Is to Hear before it was released while we were recording it. Yeah, okay. And he had the bongos there the congas that he played in Man on the Moon.
Yes.
Like Andy Kaufman's real congas, and yeah, it was fucking
wow.
Cool.
So you have to try to get back in touch with that dude because we need to get on the show. Like
right.
Email or something, or you can figure it out, Chad. Don't play.
I've tried to figure it out over the years.
He is my favorite comedians there is. I mean, his stand-up from back in the day was great, but his movies, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, Me, Myself, and Irene, just crazy classic and legendary. But I digress. Yeah, please, Jimmy, tell this story about JC.
Yeah, so I was I was amazed. I mean, I got a chance to see a lot of, I guess, famous people. For me, anyways, famous. But yeah, I saw Jim Carrey at the Greek Theater, and I was like, oh man, it's Jim Carrey. And I was a huge fan of his movies too. And he was hanging out at Chad, and I was like, hey, take a photo of you guys together. And so they pose for a photo, and Jim Carrey grabs the two drumsticks and does like this skull cross and makes this funny face. And
Nice.
so I was shooting a 35 millimeter at the time, so I had negatives. And then man, somebody from a newspaper, I don't know, it's like LA Times or something, was covering the event and came straight up to me. He says, hey, do you think we can use that photo with Jim Carrey? And Chad, I was like, and I was reluctant to, but I gave him the negative and my phone, my information and stuff, and I lost another one of those crazy things that I've done where I lost like really cool stuff.
Wait a second, Jimmy. Wait.
I was really mad about that.
So you didn't have a copy and you gave this dude a
I
negative?
was very naive and stupid.
And
so I was really mad about that.
And you didn't get his information, Jimbo?
Oh, I got him too, but like they just never returned calls and like he never contacted me back. So somewhere out there is a really cool photo.
Let's blast them out, dude. Who is it?
I have no idea. I don't even know the guy's name anymore. It's so long ago.
Well, we're coming after you, sir. We're gonna dox you, and we want that freaking picture, man. That is crazy. But anywho, go ahead, Jimbo.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Just around that whole time frame of Foreign Conqueror and going into Super Mario was just a really crazy time. Like I said, they started off in small clubs and they ended at the Philly Spectrum with like, PJ Harvey on stage doing harmonies. And I was standing, I mean, I remember Paul McGuinness. Paul McGuinness was the manager for U2.
Right.
And he was at the Philly Spectrum show. He was standing at the soundboard because PJ Harvey was there, and I was there. I was like, shit, man, I'm standing here with the guy next. This guy manages U2. It was me and David Sestak, and it's just so crazy to see that whole evolution of like small clubs to like just huge sheds by the summertime. They played like the K-Rock Christmas show in LA with a whole bunch of bands. Now, one thing I totally remember about that, which was really cool, is like Michael Stipe from REM was there. Now REM wasn't on the bill, but like I guess he was just, I don't know, he was there. And I remember like every time I would turn around, I was like, wonder where the guys in the band are. I didn't have to wonder where Ed was, because Ed was like, he was just totally following
Michael
Stipe around. And I was like, man, I probably would be too if it was Michael Stipe. I'd probably be following him around. But it was so cool to see Michael Stipe and the guys from REM, and like Ed was hanging out with him. I was like, shit, this is so nuts. Like, and they also did like I mean, by the end of the Throwing Copper tour, they were doing like Cheetah was one song that they did.
Yes.
A lot of songs didn't make it to records. They had I found so Chad, the last time I was at the spot, your old spot in New York, I found a box of VHS tapes. One of them had my handwriting on it. And it was the VHS recording from your show that you did at the Shoreline Amphitheater. Okay, such a good show. A lot of stuff in that overhang where you hid all your stuff, including that first drum kit. I think your very first drum kit you stored up there, if I recall.
Is this the studio at 210 or a different spot?
It's a spot. It's the old rehearsal space that they had there. They played like with Weezer at the Russell Hall.
Sounds like Area 51.
Yeah. Used to be a radio station for a college radio station, and then turned into the 930 Club. And now everybody's playing the 930 Club. I mean, that first set, they would end with 10,000 Years, which for me was like, man, that was so awesome to hear 10,000 Years. And then the encore, of course, was like, White Discussion. Also during Throwing Copper Tour, they did the video recording for White Discussion. There were 2 videos for White Discussion. There was the black and white one, and then
that one was filmed at.
One. But the one I went to was in Fresno. They played the show in Fresno, and I think
they wanted that theater there.
Yeah, Ed was telling the audience like, "Hey, we're gonna film this White Discussion for a video," and so they filmed it during the regular performance. But then after the show was kind of over, Ed said to the crowd, "Hey, do you guys mind if we play it again? Because I guess he wanted extra shots,
Another
extra
shot,
footage."
B-roll.
Oh no, actually, I'm sorry. They played it again, but not in front of our audience. They played it after everybody cleared out, and then they played it to an empty stage. But they wanted extra footage for the video.
Right.
And I think by then, Chad, I remember you were running around with like this spray bottle in your hand, and you kept like, you're like, yeah, we gotta look sweaty. So you start spraying start spraying his armpits and start spraying everybody. Wow. Like, we gotta look sweaty because we're gonna play this thing again. So they,
I think we'd have like come off stage and like gotten dressed, and they were like, "Oh, you gotta play it again." We're like, "Fuck, it don't look like we just played."
Yeah,
that's like when Chad and I were helping this gentleman build a house. I'm over there sweating, working and stuff, and I look over Chad spraying his armpits down with water, making it look like he was helping build the house. You remember that, Chad?
No, do not remember that.
Oh, never mind. Don't mind me. We do have a question for you. What's
sure.
the most memorable photo that you took?
Shit, I've taken so many.
The Jim Carrey one that he lost.
Yeah, man. Yeah, how about that one? That makes me mad. I took a whole bunch of them. I mean, for a while I had a little Instagram account where I was posting some of my photos. I mean, one of my favorite ones of I think shooting photos of drummers, that's like the most challenging because they're never standing, they're never still, right? They're just like they're always moving and like you gotta capture it. But that's just the first part of it. The second part of it is like you gotta get in there somehow in between all the symbols and all the shit that they've got everywhere, and you gotta try to capture that. But one of my favorite drumming photos of Chad is when they played the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Chad had his drum kit set in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, right underneath a pair of escalators. And I arrived kind of late, and I was like, shit, I can't get close enough. And then I kept looking, I was like, man, there's these escalators. So I started I started hopping on the escalator. I started going up and above, and I'd take shot like bird's eye view kind of shot. And I'd do that, and then I'd come down and I'd do the other escalator. And I kept doing this escalator thing, and I kept thinking to myself, man, I hope it doesn't notice me. What the hell is that guy doing? Up and down. But those bird's eye views are really cool shots.
Yeah, good. You got good shots from that. I remember those.
But yeah, so many photos. I like this. I like the performance photos, but I think the ones that are special to me are the ones that are like maybe fans don't get to see so much, like the backstage stuff. Like stuff from like Secret Samadhi. I used to hang out in the dressing room and just take photos of them being stupid and goofy and like dancing and like just acting all like weird because there's nothing to do before showtime. So you're just like, man, I'm bored. Let's just. So there are a lot of weird, crazy shots. Normally, some probably I shouldn't ever publish. But I mean, that's one thing that I have to say.
Do you still do photography, Jimbo?
I still shoot bands, but not lately. I've been busy moving. I mean, I started shooting for radio stations when I was living in San Diego, like 91X. I'd shoot like all their Rex the Hog Christmas shows, like with like the Blink 182, Jane's Addiction, like all kinds of bands that and so yeah, I still like concert photography quite a bit. It's kind of challenging because it's so different from any other kind of photography. Like if you do like studio photography, you just have somebody sit there and you can give like all the camera settings to a monkey and they'll be able to create that shot. But in a moving environment, first of all, you don't know what kind of venue you're going to be in. I've been in places where it's so dark, man, the lighting is just horrific to shoot. So you got lighting to contend with. You got people on stage that won't stand still. And then you got and you never, if you don't get that shot, you're not going to get it again. It's not like I can tell Ed, like, hey, can you put on that purple boa and just run full speed out again? Because I missed that shot. Like, that's not going to happen. I mean, the luxury that I had as a photographer was like, I got to go to so many shows that I knew, like, okay, man, I missed it that night, but I know exactly where I need to be standing. And I know exactly the songs that I want to hit. Also, the band has always been really gracious about, allowing me like full access. And I think after a while, it's kind of a matter of trust. Like, okay, we know this guy's not going to do anything stupid, like take dumb photos and like post it all over the internet. So,
Right.
Jimmy
I mean,
became
when you
kind of
build
like the
that,
sixth member. Matt was the fifth member, and Jimmy kind of the sixth member.
Hell yeah.
so like, so there's a lot of trust that got built over the years where, you know, I would just show up to a show and they wouldn't even like, nah, whatever, it's Jimmy's running around with his stupid camera bag, whatever. Like they would never question me. Like I had free reign to kind of
Right.
shoot whatever I wanted to shoot, and they had the trust in that. Okay, well, he's not going to do anything stupid, so that's good, right?
Yeah.
So I was always really fortunate, and I was thankful for that. All the guys in bands were super nice. Even all the managers are the same. So I was really like, even people like Matt. You know, Matt's like probably the hardest working roadie I have ever seen. I mean, he's the first one in, he's the last one out.
Wow.
Sometimes I would like you know, I'd be shooting, and in order to get the shot, I'd be in his way. But he would never ever once um say a bad word to me. He would just be like, you know, he'd wait for me to finish and say, you know, if you can keep this clear, thanks.
Right. Yeah, teamwork.
But
The reason why
I mean, sorry, go ahead, John.
Well, I was gonna say the reason why I asked you that question is because, you know, Instagram is huge, man, and you could have freaking, you know, if you had stuff that would make it great Instagram page from back in the day. So I was wondering if you were continuing through it and then, you know, still taking it because, you know, you could have a huge Instagram page, I believe, or some kind of social.
Yeah, I have an Instagram account called Shooting Live Official,
Nice.
where I post some photos. I kind of stopped working on it because of the move and everything. But yeah, one day I do have plans to like go through more photos and like post some really cool archival stuff.
Sweet.
Maybe even like stories and stuff. But
That's
yeah, it's
kind
just
of Shooting Live Official. That's kind of a cool play on the words too, because you used to
yeah.
the band live, but then also you were shooting live performances, so you kind of tackle both of those right at once.
Yep, that's exactly why I picked that.
How cool!
Even like the early days, I remember. So Chad, you probably remember Greg Steele. He used to do your
yeah, Greg. Hell yeah, Greg was awesome.
Website. So I used to send him a shitload of photos, and I haven't kept in touch with him in forever, but I do remember like a lot of my early photos I would send to Greg. He'd always like, "Hey, give me some shots of Chad. How about some shots of his drum kit?" So he was a huge fan.
I would think get Greg on here. He was a huge fan, and especially a huge fan of mine. He actually did ChadGracey.com for a long time. Pretty cool.
Nice, cool guy.
He came up with Chad Gracey hates hashtags. Hashtag.
Nah, that was me.
Come
on. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm trying to remember like some crazy stories. I remember like
wait, Jim, real quick, question for you. Has the band, were you still back in the day? And if you were, has the band ever gotten you laid? Or you're with the band?
No, I was not single in the day. I was with a girl. But
oh, damn you.
It's all good though. She was it's turned into a lifetime too.
Nice.
But yeah, it was pretty those early days were for me anyways were like super interesting. And even going into like man, the Secret Samadhi, I remember the first time I heard Secret Samadhi was Dave Sestak was the manager, and he played it for me in his car. And I was like, what is this? It's kind of dark a little bit. And
yeah,
so different from, but like I grew to really, that was one of my favorite tours actually, Secret Samadhi tour. I liked it a little bit better, I think, than Throwing Copper tour. But they were playing, I mean, by that time the band had gotten so huge. I remember going to Arizona, and each of the band members had their own bus. I mean, that's how crazy it was.
Get the fuck out of here. You guys are really living like rock stars.
Yeah, I was like, they were so huge after Throwing Copper that, you know, Gracey had his own bus, Pat had his own bus, Ed had his own bus, everybody had their own buses. And I was like, what the heck? And the production was huge. I mean, just trailers and such a crazy time to explode that much. And I remember I was out for the first week of that tour, and I remember their management really wanted to get a lot of footage and a lot of cool photos for their website, because by then 97, 98, like, okay, people are starting to understand, okay, internet, this is a great reach reach out to people.
Right.
And so they ended up buying a Mac Tower and, and a road case, and it went on the road with them. And every time I was out on the road, I'd be like taking photos, download it to this Mac, do videos on like Firewire at the time. But it was crazy because that Mac was so big. I remember, I think the other man that got mad that I was like hogging up all the space on the desk. If you've ever been on a tour bus, space is at a premium there. So, after every show, it's like, why is there a big ass like computer tower and a monitor occupying our spaces? And there I was like working on photos. I was like, but those are some crazy
Oh, so
times.
you were on the tour bus and everything,
I,
Jimmy?
yeah, I went out. I've been out on the road. I've been out on the road a few times with the band. Just hitch a ride.
So let me ask you this: did you have did you sleep on all tour members' bus? Were you in a separate bus, like for the fucking dogs? Like where were you?
I was a lot of times I was awake because what was happening like the after the show I would have to process the videos, and then I would also like have to download all the photos and mess around with Photoshop. So I was literally awake the whole night, pretty much, while everybody was like crashed and we're on a bus going to. So then I would get those, and then I would try to upload it for the next day so that people could see concert stuff from the day before. So a lot of times I slept during the day, and then wake up like in time sound check or something.
Wow.
But yeah, during the night, man, I was working on that Mac quite 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 a bit.
And you would sleep on a tour bus, or would you find some place at the venue?
Sometimes I was just sleep in a dressing room or just find some place to crash. I'm one of those weird people where I could sleep on the floor.
Wow,
with
like my
with
father.
FedEx box for a pillow or something. I'm totally fine. But yeah, it was that tour is pretty cool because I got to see also a lot of cool bands that I really like too, like Love Spit Love and Richard Butler from Psychedelic Furs, and I mean I was huge fans, and he was out on tour with them. Um, so it was good time for me to pretty cool to be able to shoot other bands and listen to other bands I like. They did Much Music TV, that tour in '97. Oh, well, of course, for Throwing Copper, the biggest highlight for me was like going to see the taping of MTV Unplugged. That was awesome because at that time,
cool.
everybody was doing Unplugged. Nirvana. I remember after, and I think during that show, I think you guys repeated a song. I can't remember which song it was, but um, I was remarking with my friend, the band is so tight. Like, man, that rhythm section is freaking so solid. Everything about the band at that point was they're so tight that they did the whole show in one take, pretty much that MTV Unplugged in one take. And I remember my friend was remarking, I think Stone Pilots did one, and he said, man, when they did it, they had to redo like a whole bunch of songs to get it right.
Oh yeah, heard
But
that.
but live did all of it in one take. But then there's one song that said, if it's okay, we'd like to do this one over again. So that was cool.
I forget what song we did over, but I remember doing that.
Yeah.
Were there, did you take any pictures that haven't seen?
I didn't take any photos there. I was just there to enjoy the shows. I was on the balcony, watching the whole thing. That's the thing about taking photos and shooting videos and all that kind of stuff is sometimes I don't really get to enjoy the shows.
Right.
Because I'm so focused on like, man, I gotta see. Let me see if I can get this shot. I didn't get it the night before, or let's see if I can do this, or I need to be over there. And so um, I'm so immersed in my own stuff that I sometimes don't even get to enjoy the show. I'm like, oh shit, it's already encore. Damn, I only got like 2 songs left or something. You know?
Right. I still don't understand or know why exactly we haven't released Unplugged. Don't know what happened,
dude.
It's on YouTube.
So legendary.
Oh yeah, of course it's on YouTube now. It doesn't matter, but yeah, at the time I don't know why we didn't release it or couldn't release it.
I wonder if it was some kind of contractual thing with the record label, like if you did that album, it could be considered one of the albums that you owed to them, and they wanted an actual studio album or some shit.
Could be,
some
bullshit like that.
Yeah, yeah. God, I'm sorry, Jimbo.
See what else I can recall. So also during Secret Smiley tour. Man, there was a lot of stuff going on. Then during that tour, Princess Di had died, and I remember we were playing Wolf Mountain.
Princess Diana, yeah, we were in Utah.
Yeah,
Yes,
Wolf Mountain in
that
Utah.
night.
You
And
remember
I think
that just that well?
Oh yeah. I remember.
I totally remembered it.
When we
I
found
was
out she
like,
died.
holy
Yep.
shit, Princess Di just died in a car accident. I was like, and I think Patrick's brother was out for that show. He played with them on a bunch of shows.
Oh, Matt did, yeah.
And yeah, when we saw that Princess Di down, oh man, that's hot. Veruca Salt was out on that tour. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ed was really into his skateboarding phase. he'd always be backstage with a skateboard, be like skateboarding around.
Ed Kowalczyk was in a skateboarding.
Oh yeah,
no way.
I got some photos of him skateboarding somewhere.
Oh, I was saying, I've never seen a photo of that. I would never ever picture him on a skateboard.
Yeah, he was also that was the time frame where he was also really into Adida, his spiritual journey there.
Yeah.
So that was interesting too, because they always have like two meet and greets. So there was the normal meet and greet for like live fans, and then they have a second meet and greet with Ed and Adida and all the followers that would come out to the live shows. And I was like, oh, interesting.
All the Adida followers, yeah.
So,
what is Adila?
Adida.
Oh, Adida.
Some spiritual guy that Ed was following.
He was a guru guy that Ed was following for a while.
Yeah, because I remember seeing like the letters written out Adida or whatever, but I was always kind of like, what is? I always thought what, who? I didn't know what the heck it was.
Yeah, I can't remember it was that tour, Chad, but wasn't it? There was like a show that you played. I want to say it was like Hamburg in Germany or something, where it ended up being like a 3-hour show, and you were so mad.
Oh yeah, it was like
they
Hamburg.
kept wanting to do another encore, and your hands were all like bashed.
Yeah.
The hell,
the rest of the band.
That was the longest show we ever did. Yeah.
It was a super long show. It's like a 3-hour show. I was like, holy cow!
We were almost running out of songs to do. We were like, what can we do now? Like, we haven't played this forever.
But what made that happen, Chad? Like, why?
I'm not sure exactly. We just kept playing. I don't know.
And the other guy, like, not for nothing, but do they realize, like, hey, drums are not the guitar? Like, I'm actually burning fucking mad calories here.
Yeah.
I think that's why you're mad. You're like, man, I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
Well, Jimmy, I was just going to say.
At some point, I was like, okay, this is enough. God damn it. What the fuck are we doing here?
Well, Jimmy, I was just going to say to you, dude, filming photography, what is it? To take a photograph of the drummer, especially Chad, he's constantly, head moving, whole body movement. That's got to be difficult to capture and not get
super hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the hardest one. He's the hardest one to get photos of. In general, I think drummers are just hard to get photos of because they won't stand still. And then you get a really good shot, and then it's like, oh man, his face is half covered by this symbol. Like wonderful.
Right.
So yeah, it's really challenging, but I really enjoy it. It's just a different kind of photography. I mean, photography in itself is like pretty crazy because like you've got the scientific side where you gotta like know about exposure and shutter speed and ISO and film speed and all this kind of stuff and aperture. But then you also have the creative side. So it's cool because you kind of get to combine a little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit like,
yeah. A little bit of
multitasking a lot. And, I don't know. That stuff is really challenging to me. So I always find those things kind of cool.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of good memories there.
Jimbo, what I want to do here is because I love to leave our audience wanting more, foaming at the mouth. So I'm going to resume the rest for next Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. We have Jimmy back on next Tuesday. Jimmy, you want to tell them where they could find you, social media wise, or whatnot?
I have not really. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I mean, it's cool to keep in touch with old friends, but then it's also kind of like, man, it's just too pretentious sometimes. And I'll go like, 6 months or 7 months without being on Facebook, and then I'll come back like, oh, okay, so not much has changed. The more things change, the more it stay the same.
Right.
I mean, they can go jump on my Instagram if they want. Shooting Live Official. Maybe I'll start adding more photos to
that's
that.
what I was to say. Shooting Live Official is the Instagram account.
But yeah, I don't know. I try to keep away from the drama as
Sure.
much as I can, and I'm so busy these days, like moving and shit. And I promise not to talk politics, but I will say that I am very proud to be out and escaped from the state of California.
Lucky you, baby. Lucky
So
you.
very proud. So happy I made it. So John, remind me next week some stories that in case I forget is the time that I had lunch. Ed and I had lunch with uh oh shit, man, my brain is like
I remember the
Neil Young. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
yes.
But yeah, there was a time in the
Oh yes.
there was a time where Ed and I had lunch with Neil Young. So let's not remind me to tell that story. Yeah, I'll try to remember.
I didn't even know about this, Jimmy. We did a pre-call for this thing. He told me about it. I was like, what? I didn't even know they had lunch together. It's freaking cool.
Yeah, that is dope. And so that's one of the stories. We got so much more to get to.
Got a lot of stories for Raylo for the chat.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be fun. Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Hey Rob.
That was cool. Australia, fans in Australia, fans in the Netherlands. Always like really good places.
They're great, those fans. They love live.
Really good places for live to play. But yeah, I was even like Gracious Few. Maybe we can get into some Kevin Martin and stuff.
Talk about that as well. Yes,
definitely.
Sounds good.
Like I said, next week is part 2.
All right.
But I'm sure there's going to be, not part 3 and 4, but he'll be on again because Jimmy goes years and years back, like you heard him. So you want to say goodbye to the audience, Jimbo?
Yeah, sure. Thanks everybody for hanging out and listening to my crazy stories. I find that as I get getting older with age, I started to remember stuff. That's why I was gonna ask Chad, like when did you start dyeing your hair silver there, Chad?
Once I had my twins.
All right, guys.
He's gonna start shaving his head in the center too, and just have hair on the sides.
Exactly. Look great.
Yeah.
All right, Jimbo. Be good, man.
All right, thank you, Jim. We'll see you next week.
All right, I'm gonna blast out of here. See you guys.
Peace.
See ya.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that was Jimmy Lang, ladies and gentlemen. What a great dude, man. What great stories. He has a ton more. That Neil Young story is definitely fun. Yeah, Chad, he told me briefly about it too, but I'm like, I don't want to stop there. I want to.
Yeah, I literally didn't even know that happened. So I'm excited to hear the story too.
Yeah, dude. He sent me an outline of all things we could talk about, and then we were talking on the phone before that, and we started getting into something. I'm like, dude, we got to stop because I need to get my honest reactions on air and all that stuff because he's got so much cool shit, dude.
I had to apologize. I was in the middle of his stories. The USPS is texting me that they don't have the proper address to deliver this package I have coming. I'm like, like now? Really? So.
And how do they not have that when you?
I don't know. Who fucking knows? It's the United States Postal Service,
Well, yeah. I'm still amazed though that you could send a fucking letter from New Jersey to California. It should be there in 3 days, but for how much is a stamp?
Not 56 cents now. I mean, no, it's not much. I mean, they get. Listen, they get a lot done for what they do. Absolutely.
But there's also a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
But the amount they deal with is crazy.
Yes, for sure. Anyway, so in the middle of his stories, I'm getting these texts from the USPS. I'm like, a phone call. I'm like, God damn it. So anyway, sorry, Jimmy.
So just I want our audience to know because we have a private chat that goes on here. And I just want everybody to know how crazy our producer or our Rob Abianchi is. He said you used to be able to send children through the mail system. That's a fact.
Oh yeah, you could.
I did hear that they sent somebody in a refrigerator box or something just to see if they could do it, and that person got through, which is crazy.
You should be able to send kids in the postal service of relatives or something.
That's insane, man.
Of course, they're basically doing that at the border now with our lovely administration.
Oh yeah, they're sending anything and everything.
Oh my God, dude. They're releasing 85,000 children are now missing. They don't know where they are. Our lovely homeland security department, who the fuck takes care of it.
85,000 from where, Chad?
Well, from all over the world, but the 85,000 kids that have crossed the border that are now lost. We don't know where they went.
Wow.
They give them this know your rights briefing. This lady was in front of Josh Hawley the other day in Senate and or Congress, and she was the head of this section of the HHS, and her whole job was to make sure that the kids know their rights. So they read them this whole thing about knowing their rights, and then they would give them to God knows who.
Right.
And she confirmed it. Like, they just give them to people, and they take them to wherever they're going to go. And they're sex trafficked, they're labor trafficked, and just so you feel good about your job, about reading them their rights, and then they have no rights when they go with these people, whoever the fuck they are. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they've gone.
How is this going on?
Insane. It's insane.
Totally.
How's it going on in America? Yeah, talk to the guy in charge.
Which one? Because I don't think it's fucking Puppet Master or Puppeteer fucking Biden.
Yeah, I love the people that are like, it was so much better than Trump. I'm like, God, are you fucking serious? Like, what do you look at that?
Right. What's the indicator? Just the fact that, like, the only thing that's better, Chad, and this is what I'm going to say, the only thing that technically is better is the right and the left aren't fucking fucking hating each other as much as when Trump was in office. Like, Trump really incite, like, the left hated him so much that no matter what the right said, it was wrong.
Sure.
And
because he's an outsider.
Right. So I will say that's what got better, but that has nothing to do with Biden. That just has to do with the crazy fucking left that just, was having a hissy fit because their guy wasn't in office and an outsider got in.
Oh, now you got a guy in. You have wars popping up all over the fucking world. You have completely open border. I mean, inflation, like gas prices out of fucking control. Like, right. It's just crazy what's happening.
Dude, and what the fuck is with the UN trying to tell Israel, okay, it's been 30 days, why don't we take it down a notch? Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
why don't you take it
the
down?
UN.
Why does the UN go and fucking tell that to Putin? It's been fucking a year. Take it down a notch. Fucking.
Right. I just saw Reuters, article come up on my phone. It's like 10,000 dead children in Gaza. It's like, okay.
You're right. It's like,
yeah, okay. That sucks. That's horrible. But like, they're going after Hamas. There's going to be collateral damage.
And not only that, before Israel fucking, did a major fucking strike, they said they gave 72 hours to get the fuck out. If you stay, you're considered a fucking enemy. So get the fuck out if you're not for nothing, but you harbor Hamas. You know what I'm saying? The Palestinians. Oh, yeah. So it's like, what is there, 30 fucking thousand in Hamas, and he's controlling the fucking whatever millions that are there. Like, fucking stand up and fucking tell the Hamas you don't want this shit anymore, and don't have a problem with Israel, and none of this shit would be happening.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There wouldn't be a child graveyard if Hamas didn't attack fucking Israel.
Exactly. You're calling for Israel to stop. We're attacked, motherfucker. What would happen if, of course, the UN technically can't be attacked, but if France was attacked by their neighbor, or fucking, England was attacked by their neighbor, we're going to tell them to stop? No. Fucking, they tried to tell us to stop Iraq, Afghanistan, but did we? No. So it's like, fuck off. It's none of your business. You're not in Israel. You're not the one who was attacked. Anybody in the UN that's saying that they should stop, well, fucking Hamas shouldn't have started it. And maybe the only way to have this not happen again is to eradicate majority, if not all of them, and lose some innocent people in the way, unfortunately. But, Israel didn't start it.
You got it.
Don't make me get my don't make me get my panties in a bunch. But we've held you guys long enough, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like and follow our Facebook page. Please share this. Share with your friends and stuff. We We love, we see the show growing every week, so we do thank you guys. It seems like you guys are doing word of mouth because we're not the best at promotion.
Working on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're as good as we are. We try our best, but I want to thank you guys for getting the word out. It's appreciated, and keep it going. So Instagram, we are the underscore gracious underscore 2. Everywhere else, we are the gracious 2. So there you go. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Chad, anything you got for them?
No, not right now.
All right. Bobby,
thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Bobby, you got anything to say to the audience?
No, just thank you for watching. Keep watching.
Yes. All right, that's our young Bobby, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mr. Good Times, and we are the Gracious 2, putting the shit in bullshit.
Later.